What if it was counting up? Imagine the show gets farther and farther away.
That would be terrible. Oh my God.
We're live.
It's here.
It's the pilot of the untitled Metal Wednesday show.
Yes, it is. We can talk about things other than Van Halen, so this will be great.
Go ahead, man. You're hosting it.
Okay, let's. John, you want to bring up the executive producers of the show? So tonight we got Charles Green, Joe Christian, Thomas Santiago, Music Therapy Labs, Mike Neese, Michael Smith, David Ennis, and Steve Carmichael.
Steve Carmichael.
So those are executive producers of the show. So thank you. Become a channel member. Just click the join button, as you all can read.
Oh, right below the like when you go to the thumbs up, thumbs down section, don't use the thumbs down. It's always got to be thumbs ups. Right below that, next to the subscribe button, there's a join button. Click it. And
Do it.
Johnny all your money.
Do it now. So look, who do we have here in the chat? Jay?
I got to read this? Okay. All right. Since you're the host, I'm going to read this.
It's you, man.
All right. So tonight we have Amanda Coombs. This is going to be in alphabetical order because I did the pop-out chat or the pop-out participants. So we got Amanda Coombs, Boner Jams, which I think he's on screen, Brendan B. Buttcheeks, Cameron Brown, our buddy all the way over in Scotland, Charles Green, Chris Bevan, Jeannie Says, my lovely wife who's downstairs, manning the battle stations, James Gum, Janice Lala, JJ's House of Jams. What's up, man? I haven't seen his name in here for a while. Johnny Beane, that's nice of him to join us tonight. Linny Lou, Mike Neese, Mr. Hellstorm 74, Nikki Ice, Susie Cherry, Thrash Metal and Fun Riffs, and Vistalite 1972, and anybody else who is in the middle of joining. Thank you very much.
Welcome. So Jay and I have been talking for a while. I've been watching Johnny and the other entertainers on the Johnny B Network, and Jay and I have discussed having a metal show for a while. It's getting a little deeper, a little darker, a little more sinister. And so yeah, about a month and a half ago, Jay and I discussed a little further. Jay's like, "Yeah, let's do it. Let's talk to Johnny." And
hold on a second. Before it got to that point,
all right,
it was more like, I don't want to host it. I was like, listen, Brian, I'll do it if you host it. He's like, really? I was like, yeah, man, I don't want to host it. He's like, I'll do it if you host it. He's like, all right. So
here we are.
Cool with it. So Johnny, thank you very much. I know you're listening.
Thanks, Johnny.
So we'll see how it goes. We got
welcome.
So we'll see how it goes. We're going to talk about obviously metal. Brian is more of a fan of the modern metal, like I'd say past how many years?
I don't know, 25 years probably.
And I do like the modern metal as well, but I'm more of the older thrash stuff going into the newer stuff as well. So I think it'll be a cool dynamic, kind of having those two, whatever, because metal's metal, but there are so many different, I guess genres of metal now, especially nowadays.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens, man. But it's gonna be fun. As of right now, we're gonna do like a last Wednesday of every month.
Right.
Same time, 8 p.m. on the Wednesday, and we'll see how it goes. Hopefully everybody digs it.
It'll be great. And especially next month, there'll be a lot of Halloween decorations here. So
yeah, looks like you got some behind you already.
Well, this is up year round. This is my Slipknot gear. It's in the middle of the living room that my family loves. So it's great.
That's cool that you can do that, though, man.
I better. I pay the mortgage. I can put whatever I want in here. I was going to put a Mortal Kombat machine in the kitchen. It was going to be me and 2 little kids, but that didn't work out so well. So
you just got to get the one that's like the old Pac-Man and Miss Pac-Man machine, the one like the table.
Yeah,
you know, where you sit and look down. That's the kitchen table right there.
Oh,
so you had a good idea when we were going over ideas for the show about just starting it out with how we got into metal and what kind of like who was responsible for it or just how it happened. So
right.
Obviously people know a lot of my backstory already, but I'm sure, you know, I'd like to hear how you know, kind of got into your the stuff you listen to now.
Yeah. So bring me back till I was like 10, 11. And
this is like 2 years ago.
2 years ago, you know, in my teens now. But no, when I was a little kid, really the first thing I ever got into was New Kids on the Block when I was in 3rd grade.
Shows up. I'm done.
So I was in 3rd grade, and you know, unfortunately, a tornado hit my school and killed 10 kids in my class. So everyone in 3rd grade loved New Kids on the Block. So when New Kids on the Block heard about what happened, they sent us to Madison Square Garden to meet them. And Paul Abdul opened, so that was pretty cool. And went backstage, got to meet a few members of New Kids. And Donnie Wahlberg was the man. He was super nice, gave everyone a hug, just super cool. The rest of them, not so nice.
And before you go,
yeah,
if you think back to that time period, like he was known as the bad boy from New Kids on the Block,
right?
So you would think it would be like the opposite, like he'd be off doing whatever, and the rest of the guys would be over, like kind of hanging out, right?
Yeah, right, absolutely. And he was the sweetest man. Like gave everyone a hug. You know, we're little kids. He'd get down on his knee to talk with you, and it was great. There was one new kid, which I will not name, but he was kind of.
Oh, come on, you got to name him.
All right, it was the guy Danny, the unattractive looking one. And he was like mean, like he was kind of cold. And I remember 8-year-old, almost 9-year-old Brian said, you know, a lot of my friends don't like you because you look like a monkey. And he didn't take too kind to that. So he walked away from me, wouldn't autograph my pamphlet. So that moment on, I was done with New Kids on the Block.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
So he's the reason why you're a metalhead now.
He is. He pushed me to the dark side. He wasn't very nice and very warm. And just looking back now, like, you know, an 8-year-old or 9-year-old kid looking up to you, I don't care what you do. If a little kid looks up to you, it's something that you should cherish. And it's kind of, I wouldn't say it's a responsibility, but like it's a little kid, you know? And yeah, but so I didn't really have anything to listen to. My mom was huge Beatle fan, so I listened to the Beatles all the time. Mm. And then I remember, I think I was in 6th grade. It was 92. And back when, you know, we all watched MTV all the time, right? That's the only thing we did. And I remember seeing a clip from Freedom by Rage Against the Machine.
Mm. So and 92-ish, right? 91, 92?
Yeah, 92.
92, right? Yeah.
And I remember being at my friend Jay's house across the street, and not you, Jay, but another Jay, and just the like aggression, that like scream at the end. I was like, it gave me goosebumps. Even now it does. It was just fantastic. So I really got more into heavier music at that time. And my brother lived in Chicago. He loved Metallica. So the first thing I ever really listened to was Injustice for All. And then as you know, that's my album right there. And so I just more and more I got into, and then, you know, I'm in 8th grade and I'm starting to go into full goth mode. And Marilyn Manson, the first album came out, and then that's when I was really into like Nine Inch Nails, industrial, and I just kept growing into stuff like that. And yeah, but the first Marilyn Manson album, that put me full dark side. Like I'd be a Beware of God shirt when I was in 8th grade, and you know, I just thought I was hard. And I was just wearing all black. I had black eyeliner, black.
Back
fingernail
then?
polish. Oh hell yeah!
Oh my
Yep.
God.
I was easily influenced.
It's called
Obviously,
guyliner, by the way.
yeah. And then I think it was in 8th grade, and I'm watching MTV, and it was like midnight, 12:30, and then all of a sudden, "Blind" by Korn came on, and that completely changed my life, because I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa! I could listen to heavy music, like super heavy, and not dress all black all the time. So then I started dressing more like Adidas stuff and started changing who I was, and then that's really it. That's what really got me into metal, is just like Korn and Marilyn Manson, industrial stuff, Nine Inch Nails, like Broken album, Rage Against the Machine, and then it just kept growing from there. And that's how I got into metal. Like there was no one pushed me into it, and
except for New Kids, except for Danny from New Kids.
He did it. That man, yes.
Wow.
And but tell us a little bit about you. I know a lot of it because you and I are boys, but some people might not. But I know a lot of it had to do with your brother.
Yeah. My brother growing up, he's 4 years older, and he was always into the rock stuff. And I remember him listening to Van Halen and Rush. Those were like the first 2 albums. But I do remember, my parents were big into music. They had the record player downstairs, and my father had, like Black Sabbath and stuff like that. Like he had some heavy stuff. But I remember listening to like Black Sabbath, and what's that one song? Whatever album Sweet Leaf is on, there's like a song that has like this eerie sounds going on. I remember like not being able to listen to it because I was so scared of it. So I like put it away. Like it scared the crap out of me. I forget how old I was. This was probably back in like 81, maybe 82 or something. I was like 4 or 5 years old. And I was just like, I can't listen to this.
Right.
So just listening to Van Halen and Rush from my brother. And then I really didn't get much heavier than that. Every time I'd hear like the name Iron Maiden or Metallica, not really knowing what it sounded like, I was like, no, that's too heavy. That's heavy metal. I don't like heavy metal.
Right.
And then I do remember about 87, my brother had, he recorded one of his friends' side B to Anthrax Among the Living. I remember listening to that while I was playing video games, because like Anthrax, yeah, the music is heavy as hell.
Right.
But the vocals were very melodic. There was no screaming and all that stuff. So it was cool, but it really didn't put me into heavy metal yet, But when my cousin got And Justice for All on cassette for Christmas in December of 88, that was it for me. Like I heard, and I didn't want to like it at first. I remember sitting in his room, we were playing Castlevania on Nintendo, and he got Def Leppard, Hysteria, and Justice for All for Christmas. And we kept like switching back and forth. Right. And I just remember hearing And Justice for All, and it was like something about the sound of it. And I know people always shit on, oh, sorry, John. People always like poop on the mix and stuff like that. But there's something about that album that just cuts through, and everything is like in your face, obviously, except for the bass guitar.
Right.
But there's something about it that even to this day, I listen to it and it does something to me. It's something very special about the sound of that album. And like I said, I didn't want to like it at first, and then that was it. All of a sudden I was like, hey, Sean, can I borrow this? And I recorded it, dubbed it, as we used to call it back in the day.
Right.
I don't know if I high-speed dubbed it, because I know high-speed dubbing, it took the quality down slightly. Everybody know what I'm talking about. But, and that was pretty much it, man. And then I started playing guitar a couple years later. And then kind of the same thing happened with me, because, I started a band or whatever.
Oh, really?
We didn't play like heavy metal back then. It was kind of like a
disco.
Yeah, Disco Inferno. No, I would say it was kind of like a Red Hot Chili Peppers-ish type of like thing that we were kind of playing. We didn't get too heavy.
Really?
And then we kind of like, the Rage Against the Machine stuff started to kick in. And we, Drop D songs started to happen.
Sure.
But then the same thing with Brian. Like the second I heard Korn, it was almost same type of thing. Like sonically, it just cut through and did something. And then I needed a 7-string guitar. And then I started to play heavy, writing heavy riffs and like, oh my God, this is more fun to me.
Hell yeah, that little B does it.
Yeah. So yeah, I would say like obviously the Van Halen, then it went up to Metallica and then to Korn, and then really the heavy stuff like Fear Factory I started listening to, Machine Head, then like I'm trying to not get off track because I could talk about this crap for 3 hours.
Right, I know you can.
But I know because if anybody's listened to Gizmochi, that's my band. There's a lot of like different time signatures and polyrhythms and stuff. And we got into that obviously from hearing Meshuggah for the first time. And I remember when Jimmy, my drummer, who is Brian's friend as well, he showed me Destroy, Erase, Improve. The song is Future Breed Machine from Meshuggah. And the first time I heard it, I hated it. I was like, it sounds like everybody is just playing a different song at the same time. The drummer's kicking his drums down the stairs. Like I didn't understand it.
Right.
Because you're just used to 4/4 and the straight drum beats and stuff like that. So all of a sudden it started to click the more and more I listened to it. Well, sorry, the more and more Jimmy like shoved it down my throat and had to listen to it around me,
Right.
And then it just kept going from there. But I got to say, there's something about playing heavy music as a musician. Obviously it's fun playing any kind of music. It really is. But that release that you get by like playing stuff and you're just digging in hard, and it's like it's really something great,
Oh, definitely. And I've been playing guitar since I was 15. I was a freshman in high school, and I think the first song I learned to play was "Sweet Dreams" by Marilyn Manson. and obviously, "Come As You Are," "Smells Like Teen Spirit," all that stuff. I had that tab book, and I had that down in like 2 weeks. But no, you're right. And then when you like with you, I know especially, but when you're playing guitar, and when I was younger, I just think about working. I would think of playing like I remember in '98 when Deftones' second album came out, Around the Fur, and learning how to play My Own Summer, and the intro riff. I like figured it out in my head, not just playing it, just in my head. And I know you've figured things out, not necessarily playing it, but thinking about it. Like that's the best. And then when you do it, damn, it's great. Yeah, absolutely. But so like the stuff that you grew up listening to stuff to now, like what now are you listening to? Like today, minus the Deftones song I told you to listen to. What are you listening to right now?
Well, I mean, I know this is a metal show, but I've been listening to a lot of older like 80s rock lately, like hard rock 80s stuff that I'd never heard of before.
Really?
Yeah, because I don't know if Apple Music is the same. I know you and Johnny use Apple Music and a lot of other people, but I use Spotify, and I'll try to show you real quick. But like, yeah, right here. So it'll say, obviously as you recently played and your stuff, but then it'll say like similar to, and of course it's not gonna, there we go. So if you have a band that you're listening to on a consistent basis, it kind of gets an algorithm together where it's like, okay, here's kind of the same type of bands, and you can just skip through and, oh, that's cool. So I found like 4 or 5 bands over the past 6 months that I've never heard of from the 80s that I'm like, how the hell did I never hear this stuff? That's some pretty cool stuff. But as far as modern, obviously Soilwork, I still listen to Soilwork.
Be better.
Yeah, I know. Mastodon obviously is a great band. So I know, well, you should talk about what you're listening to, because you listen to more modern metal than I do at this point.
Yeah.
So what do you think people in the chat? Because I see a lot of people commenting, Brendan Buttcheek says, I love doing that, finding new old bands. Yeah, it is fun.
That is great. What's up, Fruitcake Tony?
The Chad is here. We had a little chat on Facebook Messenger earlier. He got the
another guitar?
Yeah, the new Frankie.
Oh, really?
Yep. Went to Sam Ash and got it.
You got to show pictures of the Chad.
Yeah. So anyway, what are you digging now that's come out recently that we can all check out?
There's a lot of good stuff. I saw in the chat someone talk about it before, but new Lamb of God album, real good, heavy, and it's different too. It's different from the other stuff. It's real good. But just like recently, new Deftones song came out the other day, and I know I don't want to rant, but Jay is not a huge Deftones fan. I am. I love the Deftones.
Well, the first album, Adrenaline, it was yeah, it's great. It's great. It was around the same time as like, you know, like the huge, I hate to use the word, but new metal, you know, when Korn came out, right. Everybody wanted a band kind of like in that same vein. And then, you know, obviously had the Limp Bizkit stuff. But when Deftones, that first album came out, it was like, holy crap. And it's a very unique sounding record as well. Yeah. But I'd say after Around the Fur is a great album too.
So good.
But kind of after that, you know, there's some good stuff on White Pony.
Like Korea, the best song ever by the Deftones, but that's, yeah.
So yeah, tell us about the new Deftones.
Yeah, the new Deftones, well, I love Chino. Like, I don't know if other people are like this in the chat, but like Deftones are one of my all-time favorite bands. So they can put out probably the worst garbage and I'll still love it. I'm like, because it's Deftones, it's Chino. I love his voice. And Stephen Carpenter, I love him as a guitarist. He does different stuff. And I think we were talking about it. The new song, I think on the new album, he's playing a 9-string guitar. I can't really tell what that's doing on the new song though. Like I don't even know what it's tuned to. What do you tune?
Well, it sounds like he has an octave pedal or something going on for a lot of the song, but I don't even know if he's using a 9-string. I mean, just because you're using a 9-string guitar doesn't mean you're constantly using
the low end.
Whatever the hell that 9th string is tuned to. What is it tuned to? Like R? You know?
Z?
It's tuned to
right. And we've talked so much about different bands and the tunings and stuff like that. We'll get into some of that, but I don't know. Before I go any further on like stuff that's new, I think it's important to let people know like what all-time favorite bands, like what makes us tick, right? And like Korn for me, the band behind me is my favorite band of all time, Slipknot. I have so many like amazing stories, and I remember one time seeing Slipknot when Volume 3 came out, and Gizmachi.
That's a great album.
Gizmachi is sitting. I don't even know where it is. It was a smaller venue, but you Jimmy, were sitting like on a stage to the left, stage left. Do you remember that? Like all of you guys were sitting watching it. You're nowhere near the pit, and the whole place was just bumping and
bumping.
it was there was a pit everywhere. You know, I went to the urinal, and as I was peeing, I got some all over me because people were just grinding into me. It was terrible, but it was a lot of fun though. But yeah, Slipknot, Korn, Mastodon is one of my all-time favorites. Even I'd say Gojira now is one of them. They're amazing. Gizmachi, they're all right.
When the new album comes out. No, but the thing I dig about Gojira and Mastodon especially, even if I'm not a huge fan of like a song or something,
right?
They still sound unique and like themselves. That's one thing I really dig. Like even, you know, like that I listened to that new Mastodon song.
Right.
It's like even the mix sounds like Mastodon.
Right.
You know, so that's one thing I really dig about those guys is no matter what's going on in metal, because I know, you know, I talk about this a lot. I feel like a lot of modern metal, the production sound very, very similar, you know, because a lot of these guys are using the same presets and stuff and like drum samples. And, you know, I like when a band, even if I'm not a huge fan of the band, I like when they sound original and like,
sure. You know. Well, you were saying today when we were talking about the new Gojira song, you're like immediately, oh, that's Gojira. Like,
yeah,
that's huge. Yeah, so I'd say stuff recently that's been out. You know, new Deftones album comes out next month, so I'm pumped for that. I don't know what Gojira is doing. They just released a single, so who knows when their new album's coming out. And then Mastodon has, it's called Medium Rarities. So it's probably, I think it's got 2 new songs on it, and then some live songs like Iron Tusk, which is an all-time favorite. But
oh yeah, that's a great one.
That's the best. So in the chat, what do you guys listen to that's new and recent?
Yeah, so we can check it out.
Yeah.
Well, James Gum asks, what are your guys' thoughts on classic 90s death metal, or Death, the band, Morbid Angel, Cannibal Corpse, etc.? My favorite Death album is The Sound of Perseverance. That's the one with Richard Christie on drums. And that's probably one of the main reasons why I like that album. You know, Brian, you know this. I'm a guitar player, but my brain thinks like a drummer. You know, right. So whenever I hear a song or an album or whatever, the first thing I gravitate towards are the drums. For some reason, I don't know why. So when I listen to that Death record, Sound of Perseverance, man, when I hear Richard Christie on those drums, it's like, oh my God. You know, there's only a handful of people on this planet that could probably play that stuff.
Right.
Morbid Angel, I never really got into too much. I don't know why. I know I saw them live. Who the hell did they open for? Remember at the Civic Center in Poughkeepsie, New York? What?
The Chance?
No. They opened for I want to say it might have been like Pantera.
Really?
It might have opened for Pantera or Slayer or something like that. Morbid Angel.
One of my biggest regrets in life was about Pantera in Poughkeepsie when I was in college, and I bought tickets. It was Soulfly opening for Pantera. Mm-hmm. So this was like 2000. This was 2001, and it was in May, and then unfortunately I had a final. So do I pick to go see Pantera?
Yes,
who I love.
Yes, that's the answer right there. You fail out of school to go to a concert.
Or do I be responsible and take my final? And I took my final, and then I changed majors in the fall. So it was a big waste of time. I shouldn't have never done it. It was awful, and I'll never forget it because then.
Whoa! Did you ever hear that?
And Pantera was done.
It sounded like you were on a motorbike right there. Ying, 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 ying. For the next show, we're gonna have to get you wired in to the internet.
Oh, I'm sorry, everyone.
That's all right.
But yeah, biggest regret ever, just not seeing Pantera. And G knows I love Dimebag, like love him, and just always reading stories about how nice of a person he was, and I so wanted to see them. And plus Pantera live was just the heaviest band, you know? So terrible.
That was a cool concert because I went to that one.
You did?
Yeah, I want to say that was the one where Jeannie all of a sudden, like right before we were leaving, like all of a sudden like got sick.
Took off her clothes and went crazy.
Yeah. But yeah, that was a good show. And I remember towards the end, they started playing Cemetery Gates, and Phil Anselmo goes, "You don't deserve it. You don't deserve it." And they didn't play it because I was like, the first thing I'm thinking, I hear everybody else going crazy. Yes, they're gonna play it, and I'm like, he can't sing this. That's the first thing I'm thinking about, because by then his voice was shot. Was shot.
Right. Yeah.
But the Dimebag thing, let me just wrap up what you're talking about. Not one person that I ever met, like on the road or whatever, that talked about him ever said anything negative. It was always like, oh my God, all he wanted to do is like hang out. He was so cool. He was nice. And like just all these great things. And it's a shame what happened, but we don't have to talk about that.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely the biggest regret in life is not seeing Pantera. I have
biggest
a lot
regret
of
in life. Did you hear that, everybody? Biggest regret in life is not seeing Pantera.
It is. I have a lot of others. Generally, I have a regret every day, but that's a big one for me. Yeah. So the wanted to have this. Jay and I have talked about each month. I want to have like a monthly topic and talk about just different aspects of metal and different things. And so I want to ask everyone in the chat, see what you think, but also Jay, what's your, I don't know, couple top 5 intro songs, maybe to an album?
Oh my God, 5?
5, a handful.
Oh man. I'll try to pick metal ones if I have to, but obviously I know Blackened from Metallica, just that reversed intro, and then dent, and then it kicks in, with that riff that's all down picked,
right?
That not many people can do.
And then Jason Newsted write that main riff.
Yes, he did. And the cool thing about Metallica is when they released that 30th anniversary, well, I guess it would have been 2 years ago now. They put all like those riff tapes, of them like either writing the stuff, working it out, so you actually hear Newsted showing James how to play that riff. And it was a little different at first. It wasn't exactly how it is on the record, but it's just really cool that that they do stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, hey, and then they'll put out like a live concert on it. And I know the one from it's on the Kill 'Em All 30th anniversary. They put like a couple live concerts, and oh my God, are they terrible? I'd be like, if I was in the band, I'm like, you're not putting this out. Are you nuts?
Right.
It sounds like we can't even play. Oh man. But let's see. Yeah, that one. Yeah, the intro. I mean, I know it's one of your tops as well. The intro to Blind from Korn, like that's just talk about the ultimate buildup, and then the whole "Are you ready?" It's just like holy crap.
Right.
Man, I should have thought. I know you asked me this on our notes thing together, and I probably should have thought of it. But well, let's hear some of yours.
So Getting to Blind, that's definitely one of the top intro songs live or just on an album. So I remember that, like what I was saying earlier, the first time that I heard Korn, it was Blind on MTV, and I had no idea what was going on. Just a little, tapping on the hi-hat, and then
ride cymbal.
Right, and then just the intro, the low end, like the low B, and just the how it just keeps going, and then Are You Ready? And just watching that video, like I'll watch it in slow motion because I just thought Jonathan Davis was a freak. I've never seen someone go so crazy. Mm-hmm. And when it, like in the middle of that riff, right at the beginning, it stops for a second, then it kicks back in, and it just like the video, it slows, and then it goes, and his dreadlocks are going. And then they show him slow motion, and he's just shaking his head with that. And like, even now I have goosebumps, like 14-year-old me, just like, I don't know. I finished in my pants. Like that was not only the first like Korn video, but that was the first time I came to fruition. It was amazing. And then also I saw Korn live when Life is Peachy came out. They played at the Civic Center.
Yep.
And in Limp Bizkit, Helmet, and Korn played. And that was the first time Limp Bizkit, they didn't even have an album out yet. They had just had like a 3-song demo that had Counterfeit and couple other things, and so Korn came out, and they had this big white screen, and then you could see like there was lights in the back just shooting.
So out. let me explain it, because I know Def Leppard did the same thing back in, I want to say, was it 87 or something on the Hysteria tour? Same type of thing. Like they just had a huge white bed sheet, it looked like, right. But obviously it's like, a couple 100 feet wide, so Brian's right. They had lights behind them kind of projecting their images, huge, massive, right. On these on the screen, or whatever the hell you want to call it. And as soon as what did they open with? Was
Twist?
It was Chi into Twist, right? Yeah.
So
second it dropped.
Right.
Holy crap.
Right. So they open with Twist, and Jonathan's dancing and whatever, and then they're just showing like Monkey and Head, and just moving around. And then when Twist ended, it went right into Blind, and then like the sheet is still up. So when you said "Are you ready?" the sheet comes down, and Korn is just going nuts. And I was 15 years old. I was just like, this is kill me now. Like, I don't think life gets better than this right here, you know? And then I remember that show vividly because after that song, they went into Chi then.
Do you remember all that? Like the set, like, well, I guess the beginning, I guess that makes sense, but
Yeah, like that was my first heavy show that I ever saw. I saw Marilyn Manson like a year before that, but Marilyn Manson wasn't nearly as heavy as like Korn, you know. But it was just like the bass, and just like you can feel your soul shaking. It was the best thing ever, and yeah. So I'll never forget that set list because it went from Twist to Blind to Chi to Ball Tongue. So it was the first 2 songs of each album. And again, in that show also, they did Need To. And just the beginning of that song was great.
Is that show on YouTube at all, by any chance?
Yeah, oh yeah, it has to be.
It's okay. I'll have to check that out. Blackjack, I can never get this name right. He goes, was Korn the first band to use the 7-string? Well, they were the first band to popularize the 7-string. Even Steve Vai talks about it. He said, you know, obviously everybody knows the universe, the swirled universe on the cover and everything of
Take it out.
Passion and Warfare. I can't take. This is a PG rated show. I can't take it out. And but like even when I was a kid, like looking at that guitar in like, you know, was it Musician's Friend or American Musical Supply, whatever the hell it was, AMS. I didn't know that it was a low B string.
Right.
I thought it was like a high A or something, you know, not, I'm thinking, well, Steve Vai's a, you know, solo guitarist, so he probably has a higher string, that type of thing, whatever. And I just remember, like he talks about, he said, I heard this band on the radio one day. And he goes, I knew right away they were playing a set. He's like, I had to pull over and listen to this. He goes, I knew that they were playing 7 strings. And the second Korn like kind of broke, 7-string sales went through the friggin' roof. And that was the reason why I bought one. 97. Jimmy has that guitar now that Craig from CHS Customs kind of set up and got back into working order because, you know, I gave Jimmy a nice guitar, my first 7-string ever. And he leaves it in the basement and it's got rust and mold and stuff on it. So Craig had to help it out a bit, but that was the reason. That was the reason why I bought a 7-string guitar, is because of Korn.
Right. So, oh yeah, me too. I have my Purple Majesty downstairs, the magenta 7-string, which is actually tuned to A because that's what I play Korn on. And then my Universe, if I ever get it back from Jimmy, that's tuned to B, so I can play some Trivium and some Gizmochi on it. But yeah. So getting back to like intro songs.
You're talking about album intro, right?
Album
Random elbow intro.
Album or live, either, but probably more album, like first Slipknot.
Yeah, you can't leave that one out.
No, like it's all different numbers, right? And then it goes into Sick.
Yeah.
So like that story, like, well, just Slipknot. I remember like it was yesterday. I remember seeing Slipknot on MTV, and they're on Ozfest, and they were going to have a new album come out. And so I went to The Wall and I purchased the brand new Stained album.
Mm-hmm.
Just because they were on Fred Durst's record label. And you know, so I loved Limp Bizkit at the time. I'm like, all right, I'll check out Stain if they're with Fred Durst. And that's how I got into Taproot as well. But got Stain, and then I picked up Slipknot. I'm like, I'm gonna give this a try. You know, these guys look weird, and I had no idea what it was. I didn't know if it was gimmicky, like kind of like I never loved Gwar back in the day. Like I thought they were more gimmicky. I didn't think they were musically that gifted. Yeah. Now, like I know more Gwar, and I think they're better than I thought they were. But that's what I thought Slipknot was gonna be. And then came home, and I remember I was gonna go out on a date.
Ooh.
So I was like, I got to get pumped up, right?
I got to get pumped up,
you know? So this is right after I graduated high school, and I bought a cassette of the first Slipknot album and listened to it. And I'm the only one in the house, so I'm pumping it. I just wanted to, you know, I'm upstairs, I'm getting ready. And then once Sick kicked in, and then Here Comes the Pain, when it says that, and then like the beat changed, and I was like, and then hearing Corey's voice, and I was just like, this band just blew their load on the first song of this album. Like, there is no way that the rest of this album is even going to match the intensity or the quality of the first song. And then once Eyeless came on, and then you know me, like with like say bridge bending, but bending of strings.
Mm-hmm.
But when Eyeless and the breakdown, and when that kicked in, damn! Not only I also came to fruition, and also had a lot of goosebumps. But even to this day, just pumping that song, it's so good. But like from an intro standpoint, seeing Slipknot with Sick, or even People Equals Poo.
Yeah.
That's a super heavy intro.
Well, I don't think I've told this story before, but I don't even think you know this.
Is this a Slipknot story?
Yeah, it is. So I remember at the time I had never heard of Slipknot or anything, and yeah, Shipyard. There you go.
Pumpkinhead.
I was working nights, and Brendan Buttcheeks, who's still in here, I think, I was working nights at IBM. So I was working 6 p.m. to 6 a.m., you know?
Right.
So I was sleeping in my bedroom, and all of a sudden, Sean, you know, the old singer from Gizmochi, and our buddy John just came barging in my room. And I was like, you know, I was sleeping, you know? And all of a sudden, like, yo, you got to hear this. I'm like, guys, I got to work. You know, I don't know if I had to work that night or whatever. I might have been off. But long story short, they're like, you got to hear this. You got to hear this. And I'm like, all right. You know, I'm just laying there, you know, probably trying to go back to sleep and hoping these guys leave. So they put it on my stereo. And it's the same thing, like the intro part, the whole thing I think is sick. That keeps going. And then once it like kicked in,
right,
I like sat up. I was like, we're going to the store now. And I literally got up, brushed my teeth, threw on some clothes, and like went to, I forget if it was Coconuts by then or whatever the hell, and bought it. And I was like, it was at the time I kind of explained it like Korn on steroids at that point. You know, it's like they took what Korn was doing, the sound, and literally like just like injected it with steroids, man. It was like a, more in your face, faster. But it was still cool, man. I haven't really listened to a lot of their newer stuff lately, but especially that first record and the third record, those are my two favorite Slipknot records. So
the first and the third.
Mm-hmm.
So what about Iowa?
I don't know. The guitars are kind of buried in that, they're kind of muddy. Drums are really just up front and in your face.
Right.
But yeah.
The thing I loved about Volume 3 with the recording is that like you can hear the different the drumming. Like the first two albums, you just think that there's like a 9-armed drummer, but in the third album, you can tell. Like I guess just the production of it is just you can tell. Like all right, here's Joey, and then here's Chris Fain, or here's Clown, what they're doing. So I thought it was better from a production standpoint in the third album. But I know we've talked many times about all-time great metal albums, and even though Volume 3 is my favorite Slipknot album, I think Iowa is one of my top metal albums of all time. With Vulgar, of course.
Oh, Vulgar's my favorite Pantera album.
Oh, absolutely. And then and Justice for All, the top 3 metal albums all time right there.
Well, I agree with 2 of those. But yeah, when you said about the gimmick thing, I kind of agree with you, because I remember thinking that too. Like, all right, a band that wears masks, like, how are they going to be able to, continue with that? You know what I mean? And here we are. How many years later, dude? That was
20 years ago,
dude. That's insane. Right. And they are still, like
arguably the biggest band besides Metallica right now.
Yeah, that was metal. Yeah, metal band. That they really are, and it's crazy that they're still able to do that.
Absolute Mayhem. You're right. Purity. That song is fantastic.
Didn't they yank that off when they? Isn't that not on it anymore?
No, it's back on now. There was a lawsuit, and I don't know what transpired, but it's now back on the album. So if you went on Apple, or if you want to go buy the album, Purity's back on.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess it was like copyrighted. It was like a story that what Corey Taylor was singing about was similar, and guy sued Slipknot, and then for a period of time they couldn't even play it live. I don't think.
Wow. Yeah. Well, if you want to know about that, we're not going to get into that on here. But if you want to read about the story of that, you can go ahead and.
That's kind of a messed up story. So let's not.
Yeah.
Let's not bring everyone down.
Bring everyone damn.
What other? Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
No. You.
I was gonna say, what other intro songs? Metal.
I'm trying to think of more. Let's see, classic metal. I mean, I think Metallica always had cool intros, like especially "Ride the Lightning." Master of Puppets, the beginning of Battery, I thought is great.
Yeah. Like you're an old Western, like Clint Eastwood's going to come out of your speaker.
Yeah. I love me some Clint Eastwood. My name was almost Clint. My father wanted to name me Clint.
You look like Clint.
Anyway, let's see. Man, that's such a hard question, but there's so many iconic intro songs
Absolutely.
On a lot of records where it's hard. Now I can't even think of anything. Hey, Absolute Mayhem says I own a Jim Root Telecaster.
Really?
Is that one next to you?
Jazzmaster.
Look at that one.
Which I was just playing for Johnny's listening pleasures before.
What's that sticker?
What sticker?
Let me see. Isn't there something between the pickups?
Oh, it was just a pick.
Oh, the pick. I thought one of your kids put a sticker.
No, it's actually a pick from Seven Dust. I got to last year. I got to play with them for I told you about it, for an hour and a half. It was great. So they gave me a couple of their picks, so I've been using it.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Brendan Butchick says, "Damn it, boner, I want that guitar." Good thing he doesn't want your boner.
That's true. It'd be 7 inches he wouldn't be able to handle. But hey, he could definitely handle the Jazzmaster here.
Oh my goodness.
I'm just joking. It's like
what about I love me some Megadeth, so I guess we could put in Holy Wars, That's such a great tune, man.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Man, what else is there? Well, in the meantime,
what do we got in the chat for intro songs?
I'm trying to scroll through and see. I know some people name some stuff. And we're talking about album intro songs, not like intro to songs. I know we kind of got I don't think we explained it as well as we should have.
Nope.
But Savatage, Hall of the Mountain King. I used to love that stuff, man. Remember some kid that was giving away all his metal tapes because he didn't like metal, gave me Savatage, Hall of the Mountain King, Suicidal Tendencies, Lights, Camera, Revolution, which is a great record.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think of what else. Oh, speaking of Pantera, again, you got Cowboys from Hell, the intro to that. It sounds like a train going or something like that.
Yep.
And the riff kicks in and it's like, whoa, what's kicks you right in the face, man.
I remember seeing an interview a long time ago with Sebastian Bach, and Rex Brown came on, and Rex Brown just came out with his book, and so I think it was Pantera's first major tour, and Sebastian Bach was just talking about how we brought him on, and then Rex Brown was just like, "Yeah, man, no one wanted to see you guys after we were done." Like it was great. It was kind of a dick comment, but true. And Sebastian Bach was like, "Yeah, just Pantera just took over." It was great. But yeah, that like Sebastian Bach talks about it. He's like, the intro to that song is just, he's like, I'll never forget it. It's just like, it just hits you. And I was like, yeah, it's a great song.
Man. Yeah, that I remember, because both those bands were huge Kiss fans, and they would do like Cold Gin, I think, at the end of the night. They'd all get on stage together and do Cold Gin, which I thought was pretty neat. But yeah, I couldn't imagine. I think in any kind of live concert setting, man, to have the heavier band play before, like, obviously Skid Row, Slave to the Grind was heavier, but I
Right.
couldn't imagine following Pantera thinking like, oh my God, how the hell? They just kind of, it's almost like Monsters of Rock with, when on the Van Halen one, I know we're trying to not do too much Van Halen because we do enough of that every other show. But like they talked about, like even my brother went to that show in '87 at the Meadowlands in Jersey.
Right.
And he wasn't a Metallica fan by any stretch of the imagination. And I remember when he got home, like the next day, I was like, how was the show? And he's like, Metallica just completely, the second like they were done, they blew everybody else away, and he's like, I don't even like Metallica. And they were just like, no, but everybody that played after him, because I think they played like second or third that show. And
what year was that?
'87.
So it was before Justice.
Actually, it might have been summer of '88. I'd have to look because they played a couple Justice songs on it. So it might have been when Justice was like almost out or something like that. Might have been the summer of '88. I'm sure Johnny knows if he's there. Johnny,
you there?
Yeah, John BL is in the chat. He said '88.
John BL, nice.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense because it was the
'88.
Yeah, OU812.
Yeah,
tour.
They did two tours. They did the Monsters of Rock tour in the summer of '88, and then they did their own tour winter of '88, and that's when I saw them.
Okay.
So you saw them, Johnny?
Oh wait, who are you talking about?
No, not Van Halen. We're talking about Metallica.
Van Halen on their own tour.
Yeah.
I'm
saying you're talking about Van Halen. That's all I talk about. Hey, Zeke.
I would have been surprised if you saw Metallica.
Oh, I did.
No, on their own. Like, just went to go see them.
I did. I saw them in San Francisco at one of the Neil Young Bridge benefit shows.
Oh, wow.
At Shoreline Amphitheater, and it was all acoustic. So they played all their songs all acoustically.
What year was that?
That was 1997.
Wow.
Yeah, you know who wouldn't have allowed that? Cliff Burton.
True.
I know it's terrible to talk about stuff like that, but so many times I'm like, Cliff wouldn't have been having this, Cliff wouldn't have been cool with that. But I know that's kind of crappy to say, but it's just human nature,
It's true. But, trying to think of some other intro songs, like for me. So like because you're more into like the older stuff, like you're talking about like Kiss. Like I'm
not a very huge Kiss fan, even though I'd say maybe over the past couple years I've gotten into some of their stuff, but it's not the stuff that like the hardcore Kiss fans like. I'm more of the '90s Kiss, like not like Animalize and Destroyer, is it? Some other stuff like, I'm not a big I wouldn't consider myself like a huge Kiss fan.
Right. I'm not a Kiss fan at all. I don't know anything about them, or not one. I do, but not much. But like I'm thinking of like older songs or like older bands that I'd listen to that had cool intros. I can't think of any right now. I know a song I really like that I thought was pretty cool intro was Pinion by 9 Inch Nails off Broken album. It's just like it was the song that was on for, I think it was like 120 minutes, or it was one of the MTV shows. And it was like the video was like going down like, toilet flushing and the water going down the pipes and things like that. And it was that song. And at the end, there's a guy that's all bundled or tied up, and he has pipe in his mouth and he's just shaking and the water's going everywhere. And this song is like getting louder and louder and louder. And then it goes right into Wish. Damn.
I don't know much about that. Chris Bevan says Black Diamond. Come on, guys. Crap. I don't know.
Let me see what else.
Vista Light says Mustaine is still mad at Kerry King for not joining Megadeth. Dude, every time I see that or read about it and Kerry King talk about it, I don't understand how that could have worked
or why.
Every lead guitarist in Megadeth has been like a virtuoso,
right?
And obviously Marty Friedman is my favorite. Just the melodicness of his solos and the weird notes he picks and his bends. He's my favorite, but I don't. Kerry King lead playing, like in Slayer it works because it's like everything's fast and the solos come in and it's just like just craziness.
Right.
Where I really, what kind of solo would he have put in, in some of those like great melodic Megadeth tunes? I mean, of course I would like to hear it, but I just can't see it.
Right. Or the Dimebag right before Marty Friedman was asked to join. And Dime wouldn't go unless he took Vinnie Paul with him. And then Dave
Really?
I
never heard this.
You never heard that?
No.
Yeah. Dave Mustaine hired Nick Menza, and then he needed another guitarist. And then I think someone referred him to Dime, or he wanted to go see Pantera. And it was before Pantera had Cowboys from Hell.
It was before they were like
before they were Pantera, like huge. Right.
No, and it's before they played like heavy stuff. They were kind of like power metal stuff,
Right.
Like, yeah.
And just obviously Dime is a virtuoso and just amazing. So he's like, yeah, I want you. And Dime was like, okay, but you have to take Vinnie Paul. Like, we're together, we're brothers. You got to take him. And Dave Mustaine thought about it and he's just like, sorry, I just hired Nick Menza. And so Dime's like, yeah, no worries. And
wow, I've never heard this.
Yeah. And then Mustaine hired Marty Friedman. And then your brother-in-law and I argue frequently about who's better or better guitarist, Dime or Marty Friedman. You know that.
I know.
Then I'm like, I can't get into the Marty Friedman's hair, but Dime's hair wasn't much better. So I don't know.
Well, at one point they kind of had the same,
bouffant.
The bouffant, the curly haired mullet where it's like a pom-pom in the front. And then just
It's true.
I'm a huge, this.
Yeah.
Huge Megadeth fan, huge Pantera fan, and I've never heard that story. Wow. I wish we can go to like an alternate universe or an alternate dimension where like certain things happened. Dave never left Van Halen, another Van Halen. We should get a whiteboard behind one of us, and every Van Halen reference, we chalk one up. John Biel. Maybe one where Kirk was in the bunk instead of Cliff. What the next Metallica record would have been. Stuff like that, because that would have been pretty interesting, man, to hear. I'm sure it still would have been great, because Mustaine, from what I remember, from what I know, Mustaine obviously, pretty much wrote everything. So it would have been different. There would have been, the music probably would have been kind of close to the same, but obviously different solos.
Yeah.
But that's interesting stuff. Does anybody else hear that? Yeah. That is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, I will say that Dave Mustaine, if he didn't sing, he could have been the lead guitarist, because Mustaine is a phenomenal guitar player.
And he's not a phenomenal singer.
Yeah, but it's unique though.
It's definitely unique.
Yeah.
It's definitely unique. The wasn't that one video after the Big Four show, and Kirk Hammett was being interviewed, or he said something about Dave Mustaine's voice? Didn't he like say something making fun of him about it? Or I'll find it. But Dave Mustaine was not too pleased. I think also Kirk Hammett said something about like pumping each other up right before they go on stage. Or like, let's show them we're the best. And then like people lost their mind. Like, oh man, look at Metallica. And it's like, well, of course you want to be the best. Like, oh, let's show them we're second fiddle to everyone else here. Like, yeah. Like, I think people blew it out of proportion. It was pretty funny.
Oh, of course. I mean, but that's one thing that, I remember, when we were doing our whatever thing, like you want to go on it. I never looked at it as a competition with the other bands that we toured with, but it was one of those things with like, hey, these guys are bringing their A game. We gotta show everybody in the crowd that we're better than them, or we have more energy than them, or whatever it is. Like, you never want to go on stage and just kind of like, it should be looked at as a challenge too sometimes,
Absolutely. Speaking of going on stage, then did you ever play before or someone's playing right before you guys, and so you're getting ready and you're just seeing this band tear it up? Did you ever just go take the stage like, oh man, we are screwed?
When we played with Byzantine.
Really?
Yeah, the first show with Byzantine back in 05, I think it was. OJ remembers exactly where the place was. I forgot. I thought it was in St. Louis, but it was in wherever the hell it was. And I remember because I had never heard them before. You know, I remember like looking them up, I think, before we left, and like hearing in their first, and I've said this before, like their first album, I want to remix it, but they can't get the rights to it, so it can't happen. But I remember hearing it thinking like, oh, okay. Like I was like not really thinking much of them, you know, after hearing like one of their songs from their first record. And man, they played before us that show. And I remember standing out there and I was like, oh shit. You know, like literally like 15 seconds into their first song, I was like, these guys are tight as butt cheeks, man, just like locked in. And it was one of those moments where like, crap, you know, we got to step it up.
Any other bands like you played for, and then when you were coming off stage, you're like, man, we have to follow that? Anyone say anything like that to you?
There was one comment. I remember somebody in the band heard another band say, how are we going to follow that? And that was one of the coolest. I remember hearing it like after, like in the dressing room or something. It's like, yo, I just heard so-and-so from the band that played after us.
Right.
So how are we going to follow that? And I was like, yes, man, that's right. You're not. Get off the stage. Don't even bother getting up there.
I remember seeing you guys open up for Slipknot back at the Meadowlands. Mm-hmm. It was Lamb of God, right? Shadows Fall.
Yeah, Lamb of God, Shadows Fall. Obviously, we opened.
Right, you were the first, and you guys did a great job.
Well, what sucked about that show is the show was supposed to start at, let's just say, 6 p.m. We were supposed to hit the stage at 6 p.m. or something like that. And it was our hometown show, you know, that was like the closest show to us and stuff. And I remember like a few hours before the show, all of a sudden they moved everything up a half hour. So like you don't know how many people like that were coming to see us, like friends and family, that missed us because they got there as we were like getting off stage or whatever. And they're like, we thought you guys were playing at 6. I'm like, they moved everything up. So that kind of sucked, but it was still cool.
Yeah. I remember when I got there, you guys were, I think we had 2 or 3 songs left, but it was great. There was so many people were watching you.
Yeah. It was cool.
You know, it's just, how amazing is that though? You open for Slipknot. Like, that's sick.
Well, I will say one of the cooler things about it was when we were driving past the Meadowlands. I forget what it was, but maybe a week or 2 before the show. And on their huge sign, you know, the illuminated sign they had outside of the arena, it had, you know, Slipknot or whatever, and then it had like all the bands opening. And I was like, guys, our name is on that thing, man. And that was almost like cooler than playing the show. That was like, everybody kind of has that moment where something seems like surreal. That Absolutely. Was one of them for me. It was like, I saw our name up there on this thing, you know, so I don't want to get crazy, but that was a cool experience.
No, I hear you. Like, you know, I'm a State Farm agent. So the first time I had a billboard to see my face, like 25 feet, it was huge. I just stood underneath and just waved to everyone as they drove by. It was great.
That's me.
I didn't do that, but I wanted to. But it was just seeing like, oh my God, that's me. That's insane. And then I saw multiple homeless people pleasuring themselves to it. So I just kept driving by. So
Jesus, RAPES me, says, did you get to meet any of the Slipknot guys? Well, on the back of this, here's our album. And on the Jesus, almost dropped it. On the back, you can see.
Yep, clown.
Yeah, he pretty much got a sign and everything. So yeah, we did a tour with those guys, and they were always cool. Wow, Robot Master Switch I saw Jay in 2005 on Ozfest in Seattle. That's pretty cool.
I like that Robot Master Switch thought I was going to be some greasy looking guy. I'm glad I disappointed you.
Thrash Metal says new ad campaign, Boner from State Farm.
They like it. Yeah, like Jake, Boner.
Yeah, we
target market like the 60-year-olds.
Absolute Man, did you take a photo of the billboard? I did not. This was before, everybody had an iPhone with like camera on the ready,
Polaroids.
Yeah. So, you want to show that guitar real quick again, or do you have another one next to you, or is that the only one you got next to you?
This is the only one I brought up. I had the rest of them downstairs, but I was just playing this before. Soon I'll be getting Jim Root's new custom Jazzmaster. So
you should be getting that in a couple weeks, right?
I'm sorry?
You should be getting that in a couple of weeks, shouldn't you?
I hope so, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, this is I think right now, and I probably said this, and actually today via Snapchat memories, this guitar arrived to me 3 years ago today.
Wow.
So
3 years already?
3 years, bro.
Holy
crazy.
Crap.
And at first, like, it kind of freaked me out because I couldn't tell where I was playing on the fretboard, but you get used to it, and plus you have the little dots up top. But it's so cool, it's so sleek, and it's like simple. There's only just one knob, the volume knob.
Yep.
And it's great. I love it. It's just a great guitar, and love the pickups. Sounds great. The low end is sick, and as you know, this is tuned to drop B, and yeah, I love it. And the new one I get, it will be also drop B. So it's like I'll play my own little concert, and I'll keep switching guitars for no one. So it's gonna be great.
Drop B for Boner.
And then I guess next time I'll bring out a couple other ones. But you know me, like I'm too lazy to retune guitars or move them around, so I just buy new guitars. So works out.
Well, yeah. Wait, so what the hell am I supposed to be reading here? Yeah, I get what you're saying. I mean, unless you're doing like drop or E to drop D or something like that, like whenever you have to retune or change a guitar to a different tuning, I mean, everything goes haywire.
Especially yeah.
Absolute Mayhem wants to know what
changes.
What string gauges do you have on that in drop B?
Oh, I don't remember. 10s. I think it's 56. It's pretty low. But yeah, it's I think it's 10, and I know it's 10s. I forgot what the low end is. Sorry. I should have looked, but I need to retune this too. It's been about 6 months.
Retune it or restring it?
Restring it, I mean, yeah. Tuning's good. It's just stringing it, yeah.
Susie Cherry wants to see the close-up of the headstock. And Robot Master Switch, while you're showing that, I'll read this comment. Says, anyone a little disappointed that Boner's hair doesn't look like his pick? Half relieved, half disappointed. Oh man, that's pretty good.
I should have wore the Boner Jam shirt, and I apologize to a few. I haven't sent it out yet. It's procrastination, lazy, and coaching baseball has prevented me from getting out and getting that sent out. So soon.
You are one of the busiest dudes I know, and I can't, like I said, when you were saying you wanted to do the show, I was like thinking, how the hell? And Robot Master Switch says, just got home from the dispensary. What did I miss? How did you guys get into metal? We covered that. Favorite bands? We kind of covered that, kind of.
Yeah, I said a few, and but yeah, Robot Master Switch. I guess a few real quick. Mastodon, Gojira, Slipknot, Trivium. I'm a big Trivium fan too. I know it brings us to a different topic, but Jay got to tour with Trivium and share the same tour bus, right?
Do you have to remind me of that?
That's pretty cool, though.
At the time, it wasn't. it's if I remembered, I'm not one of those guys, you know, I have a terrible memory with a lot of stuff. Man, if I could remember half the things that happened through that short few year span where we were touring and stuff like that, I would love to write a book and just bury so many people. but I would feel like such an ass after I did it. Like, man, you know, I don't want to do stuff like that. But I will say, Corey from Trivium is an awesome dude. Like, me and him had a good time on that tour. He's a good dude.
I met Trivium, it was a couple years ago, and at the time, my guitar teacher, Ollie Herbert from All That Remains, was like, he's like, oh, you definitely should meet him. Real nice guys, definitely should go. And they were super nice. Got to hang out with them for a little bit, and then I'd say I don't know, you know this, like, well, at one point last year, like, I just wasn't playing as much. You know, sometimes you just go in lulls, right? And there's days that you're playing all the time, and there's months at times that you don't play, right? And so my kids got me a cameo from Matt Hafey, and it was really cool. It was a cool Christmas gift, and they're a good band, good guys. New album's great. I like it a lot. So yeah, Robot Mess Switch. Those are some few bands. Jay's really into like In Excess, Depeche Mode, you know, Orgy. Those few bands.
Orgy had that one cool song. Was it a cover or something?
Yeah.
Absolute Mayhem has a good question. What about non-American metal bands? Two of my favorite non-American metal bands are Meshuggah and Soilwork, both Swedish.
Yeah, Meshuggah is fantastic, and I think I'm pretty sure their next album they went back to 7 strings.
Yeah, that might be a secret that I told you.
Yes, which is awesome. So yeah, thrash metal and fun riffs. Yeah, Orgy, Candy Ass, their first album, and that's a band I like that I like feel dirty for even telling people I like, you know. It's like going to a strip club and being caught. It's like, oh, you were there? You like Orgy? Yes, I do. Well, the first 2 albums. So,
yeah, not only the band itself, but the name. Yeah,
yeah,
like,
absolutely.
What? I like Orgy. Who? Orgy. So, is there anything besides the guitar you're getting? Hopefully, within the next few weeks.
Yep.
Is there anything else? Well, is there any other guitars? Well, you got a guitar recently. I'm surprised you didn't pull that one out.
Yeah, because it's not here.
Oh, it's getting set up?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And that'll be my Macedon guitar. That'll be it's going to be tuned to C. But yeah, I want another universe. I really want, and you know, if we discussed and even with Johnny and on the show, but I want to swirl a universe. And or kind of do there was one show that Johnny had, there was one guy that Caleb brought on that he had what we were talking about, having a green body, right? Mm-hmm. You know how the universe is the black and green, have the green body. I thought, like, remember he had it on? I almost pissed myself. I was like, that's it, that's what I wanted.
Yeah, I know.
So.
Well, I don't know if he's swirling again yet, but we gotta definitely get you hooked up with him.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know? And see what happens with that, but that'd be cool, man.
Yeah. So you're going to be getting another guitar at some point, right?
Well, I'm getting the Frankenstein or the Frankie as soon as they come out with a new batch. But it's on such back order right now where they're thinking it might be like January by the time I get it, which is fine. You know, it's fine. But everyone, man, I'm telling you. Everyone that's gotten them that I know, literally was in love with it. You know, like Chad from the chat earlier, he said he can't stop playing it. The neck is magic. Caleb Rappaport from Nerd Hill, he says the neck is magic. Cameron Brown, he loves it. The neck is magic. That's the general consensus with that guitar, is the neck is something else, man.
Right.
So I'm pumped to get it.
So one of I always tell everyone this, like how like I'll talk about all day. You're one of the best guitarists I know, and
Let's not get crazy.
yeah, no, you're really good. And people, if you haven't never seen Jay, go YouTube Jay. There's a pretty cool video with him and Clown in the studio. But Jay does a pretty cool cool solo. But a really good friend of mine is in the chat. My boy Nick Tricano, aka Trick Day Nast, aka Tricky.
Where?
He's got a real original name as Nick Tricano. It's in the chat. But he's amazing guitarist, real good guitarist. I've talked to you about him and before. Real good, and it's good to see him here. Love you, Trick. But yeah.
Well, we got Robot Master Switch is on an active hunt for a metal 7-stringer. You know what? I don't have it up here. It's downstairs. But the I mean, I guess it's not a technically, if you're looking for a metal guitar, you're not going to look for a Desert Sun Yellow, you know? But I got to say, man, the RG 7-string, I forget the model number because it's like 20 digits long.
The one right behind you?
No. No, this is the gem.
I know.
The yellow, and I put hot pink pickups in it and a hot pink strap, so it looks real metal now.
Right.
But I can't believe how great that guitar is. Like it's an amazing guitar. You know, and I've been playing that more than either of my other universes, actually, because that back there's the 91 and the 2000. And I just can't, whenever I'm playing a 7-string, it's the yellow and pink one now.
Right.
So if you're looking for one, they're about $1,500 or $1,600. But seriously, it's if you're looking for a great 7-string, and I'm an Ibanez guy. I like Ibanez guitars, obviously. So do you.
Yep.
Definitely check it out. And it's got the low pro edge, which is my favorite tremolo of all time. So yeah, man. Can't go wrong. And it's Japanese made, which everybody knows Japanese Ibanez guitars are top notch.
Right. And Jay is probably the most picky guitar player of all time. If it feels a little off, that thing is going back.
You're not wrong.
No. But
very, very particular, because I know, like Johnny, for instance, you know, Johnny can pick up anything and play it and won't bitch about it. Whereas me, it's like, well, you know, it's instantly I'm picking out the flaws before I'm like, oh yeah, I like this, but no, I don't like this.
Right.
So I wish I was a guitar player that could literally pick up anything and play it without bitching, but I can't. I really can't.
Do you want another 7-string?
Yeah, I want to get a Sir, because according to Cameron Brown, man, they make what he considers the best guitars that you can play.
So if you get another 7-string, that you have 3 already, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you're gonna get rid of one? You're gonna sell one? Like, what are you gonna do?
I can't. Those 2 guitars. The black and green one is on the new Gizmochi album that's coming out, and the one behind it that Ellie put all the stickers on, that's on the first Gizmochi album. So I can't sell them. And plus, man, you know how it is. You sell a guitar that means a lot to you, and next thing you know, you're regretting it. So I'm not gonna sell any of them. Yeah. Plus, they're great guitars, man.
Oh, they're phenomenal.
You played them?
Yeah, well, they're great.
Yeah.
The reason why I was asking is, like, if you have 4 guitars the same tuning,
that's a good point. Maybe I would change the tuning on maybe the black and the mirror pickguard one.
Yeah.
But I really don't know. I mean, I'm kind of like, I don't know. I kind of stick to one tuning, even though maybe I'll get the new Frankie when it comes. It'll stay, you know, E sharp or E flat, E sharp. You get that joke? E flat. You know, I don't know.
Jay, there's a question for you from
Jim
Nicholas.
Hey now.
At 7/8. Hey now. I heard you and Mancooter talking about an Ibanez Gem Edge tremolo cover. What is that? Do they still make them? Cool show, guys. Thanks, Jim Nicholas. Appreciate it.
So, when they first came out with the Gems in '87, they actually had a cover that attached. Everything's backwards on here, but that attached to the edge. This is a low pro. I swapped it out for a low pro, but they had it was a trem cover that basically went over. Johnny, if you have a chance, if you pull up a picture of it, it might be a little easier to explain. But literally, what it did is it prevented people while they were palm muting or whatever to like push the trem back, which I never had an issue with it.
Mm-hmm.
Which because when I found out that they had that thing, I was like, why do you even need that? Just put your hand in the right place and don't push back on it. So there was a lawsuit that happened, and there was only a handful of them that they were able to. I guess the first batch of gems that went out had them on there. I think Mancuda has a gem with it, doesn't he? But
what are those inlays?
What do you mean?
I've never seen that.
The pyramid inlays?
Yeah.
What?
That is just truly outrageous. Truly, truly outrageous.
They're the coolest, man. The coolest. Peeing your pants is cool.
I like it.
Yeah. Well, this one has the pyramids on it too, dude.
Yeah, that I've seen. I just didn't know it was on the other one. And then was the pink in it already? That's why you did the pink, the pickups pink too on the inlays?
Well, that comes with pink pickups. The
Oh,
one
it did. I
downstairs.
thought you changed them out.
No, the other one downstairs I did.
Oh, okay.
Check out the custom finish by Ellie Vi.
I like it. It looks good.
Yep. And notice I was playing it when she put the stickers on. That's why there's no stickers there.
I love it. So you see, you're nicer than me. If my children ever touch my guitar, and ass whoopings in their future. So you're definitely a better dad than I am.
Yeah, because I know Dave saw it and he's like, you're gonna take those off? I'm like, I can't take them off, man.
Yeah. No, that's great.
Yeah.
Let's see what else we got here in the chat. I didn't really see any other questions, but also I'm just scrolling real fast. No, I know we're getting close to that time. But as we talked before, we should give I wouldn't say necessarily homework, but a song or two that you've been listening to, or something that you love that you think people should check out. What do you got?
All right. Check out if people aren't really into like the odd time stuff or polyrhythmic music. I know most metal people have heard of Meshuggah and stuff like that, but if you're not really into that kind of weird stuff, try it again. Listen to Future Breed Machine from Meshuggah, which I think is one of the coolest metal songs ever written. Give it a shot. What about you?
I have a couple. Well, Meshuggah, one of my favorite songs or EP, I don't know, it's just one song, is I. And we've talked about that. And you guys played, right, for the release of that?
Yes, we drove all the way out to Cleveland, Ohio, to play at Peabody's, because at the time, the one singer from Mushroom Head, J-Man, he came out, he started a record label.
Mm-hmm.
And somehow he got Meshuggah to put out that EP, that I EP, on his label.
Right.
So Meshuggah wasn't there for their CD release party, but we were, and we played it, which was pretty cool. It was like literally like 15 people there.
So did you guys play with Mushroom Head too, or
No,
it
was I think their side project. A few of the guys from Mushroom Head had a side project, and I think they headlined the show or something. But yeah, it was one of those things like you drive 8 hours to play in front of like 15 people,
Right.
But it's all worth it. It's all part of the the experience and everything.
Cool. So what I was saying is I love that song or album. It's just like, oh, we're gonna release just one continuous song, and it's like 22 minutes. So that's fantastic. But their new album that came out earlier in the year is Code Orange. Underneath, there's a song called In Fear. It's the third song on the album. Yes, it is. It's cool. It's really cool. I don't know if you'll like it. I don't know what you'll like. You know, I'll send you something and you're like, oh, that's cool. I'm like, really? And I'm like, oh, Jay, this song is awesome. You're like, no. I don't know. I think it's really cool. There's some, and when you hear it, you'll know like, oh, I can tell why Brian likes the song. But the intro's got a pretty cool riff. And I wouldn't necessarily the outro, but there's a riff towards the end of the song that's just heavy, and they tune to drop B, and they're pretty cool. They do some pretty inventive stuff and innovative. And I would say In Fear by Code Orange. And I know I've made fun of myself for liking it, but there's a song called Where's Gerald by Orgy. I don't know. That song just does it for me. It just does.
You say so, man.
I don't even want you to listen to it because you'll make fun of me probably for 5 minutes straight. So you don't listen to it, but everyone else check it out. Where's Gerald by Orgy? Great song. And In Fear by Code Orange. Dope.
Well, you are definitely more open-minded as far as letting new music in.
Yeah.
And I know I read something not too long ago about how like the average age of like 33 is when people stop seeking out new music, and like almost like no, I don't even want to hear it type of thing.
Right.
I don't know if it's maybe a like think about it, like our parents growing up, like you start listening to heavy stuff and they're like, what are you listening to?
Right.
You know, even though my parents, especially my father, was very open-minded about like he's not a fan of that heavy stuff, but he understands like those guys are talented, even though I'm not a fan of that stuff, and especially like the screaming, but he gets it, and he doesn't think like those guys are just making noise type of thing. But yeah, I don't know what it is. Like there's a lot of newer, I guess, stuff where I don't even give it a chance, and I wish that I would. But everybody's got their own little perks about them.
Sure.
And some stuff I'm like, oh my God, turn it off.
Right.
But you're definitely more open-minded, and which I wish I was.
Yeah, there's just a lot. There's a lot of good stuff that's out there. And just give it a chance and be open. And like I know you're like this too. But like, let's say I'm with someone who doesn't know metal as much, and like what some people hear from it's just like it's so loud and so aggressive, and it kind of turns you off at times. But then when people get past that and hear the musicianship and how talented these people are, and you can just listen to something, you're like, that person had to be playing a guitar for at least 8 hours a day for a couple of years to be that good, And like the other day, I was with one of my coaches, Anthony, and we're in the car for about 45 minutes, and I just played him different stuff, and I'm like, check out this riff, and like how good it is. And I love that. And I love teaching people about it, and my kids, that's all they listen to. They're like, oh, let's do a TikTok video. I'm like, hell no, we're listening to Slipknot.
Yeah, that is a cool thing too, because I know Ellie is going to be 4 in 2 months or whatever, but I mean, she loves, like, Jeannie texted me earlier in the show and said when I mentioned the intro to Master of Puppets, like the album, Ellie started singing the song Master of Puppets, Master, that type of thing. So It's cool that like I have a almost 4-year-old that's already a little headbanger.
That's awesome. You're doing a great job parenting.
Yeah, just for that reason alone.
Right. I'll have one quick story. When Brody was 8, he was going into 3rd grade, and Slipknot was here in Hartford, and I'm like, we're going. And so we go see Slipknot, and I'm like, I don't know if I should bring an 8-year-old to see Slipknot, but he loves Slipknot. He's been listening to it his whole life. He was really pumped. And we'll go to the show, and we were on the side, like not on the side of the stage, but like front of the stage to the side. And there's people just smoking weed all around us. I'm like, oh man, I am failing as a dad right now. Like I'm bringing my 8-year-old son, by far the youngest person here, to this, and people are smoking, and I felt terrible. Then all of a sudden, your cousin Sean, he's like waves to me on the stage, and he's like, "Come here." So Sean walks across the stage right after Lamb of God played, right before Slipknot was about to take the stage, and gave Brody 4 drumsticks, and which they're back there. And so 20,000 people in this concert are watching Brody get 4 drumsticks from Sean right before Slipknot is about to take the stage. So Brody gets these 4 drumsticks, and the whole crowd's cheering for him. And he was so pumped. And I'm like, thank God, because I felt like I was failing for a moment as a dad. And people are giving him high fives, and they're like, "Oh, this kid is cool. He's watching Slipknot. This is great." So
you're thinking you're failing as a parent. And all the other people in there like, "That's a cool dad, man." You know, you have a cool dad.
Like, I always want to be the cool dad, but I gotta, make sure I'm doing it the right way. So that was cool. That was cool.
That is pretty cool.
Thanks, Steve Anderson. Appreciate it, man.
Steve Anderson. Whoa. Hey, man.
Love it. But hi, Jay Hannon.
Yeah, well, again, we got to go through the list of thanks and everything, but everybody, please give a thumbs up. Please subscribe. This is a kind of a cool thing. I know that when we do like the when those guys do the Tuesday shows, we got the Friday show, the Saturday Night Live show. There's not a lot of and I know a lot of people in the chat room are, heavy metal fans and all that stuff. So it's kind of cool, to do something like this, to kind of give, another, I guess, avenue or whatever. And as I was saying that, Robot Master Switch says, "Make this a weekly show, please." Well, as of right now, we're just going to do a monthly thing. But we totally appreciate everybody watching tonight.
Yeah, we don't want to saturate YouTube with this face, you know what I'm saying? So we gotta ease into that, But no, thanks, Robot Master Switch. And Johnny, thank you for letting us invade your channel for the night and penetrate it with a lot of metal. So thank you, Johnny.
Metal penetration.
Metal penetration. That's the name of the show right there. We got it. Boom.
Take it all.
Yeah, we had a really cool name initially, but when I looked it up, because Jay ran it by Johnny, when I looked it up, I found a lot of phallic symbols in a graveyard. So I'm glad we didn't do that. So
wow. Well, yeah, I'll say it real quick before we split. But yeah, Brian was trying to come up with a name and stuff, and I was like, I don't know, man. Oh, look, Kitty Cat.
It's Dimebag.
Hey, Dimebag. So Brian came up with a name for the show, and I was thinking like, wow, that's pretty good. So before I tell you the name of the show, everybody, the idea was I was going to have Jeannie come up here, grab a microphone, and have the intro for the show do something like, SiriusXM has the Boneyard. Johnny Beane TV has the Boner Yard. That was going to be the name of the show. Was going to be the Boner Yard, but it didn't pan out.
Yeah, Amanda Coombs. I said it, and then she was like, "Oh yeah, Boner Yard." So she was the one that really pushed for it. So she's a big fan of yards, apparently. So that's why. But yeah, no, it was pretty cool. It would have been different, but yeah. Maybe metal penetration it is. I don't know. I don't even necessarily worse. So
yeah, we'll change the name every show. Every show it'll be a different name.
I thought it'd been funny if it was Jay's Boner Yard, but he's just like, I don't want to be like a part of boners. So
yeah, too many.
Yeah.
So,
but all right. Thank you, everyone. It was a great time. Thanks, Jay, and we'll see everyone soon. Make sure you do your homework. And also, too, in the chat, before you go, put up a song that you want us to check out. We'll check it out. We'll discuss it next time.
Or in the comments section after the video. But also, before we go, we got to read off the channel members and stuff like that. There we go.
There we go. We got channel members Charles Green, Tony Fruitcake, Michael Smith.
Wait, read them all backwards.
David Ennis, Mike Neese, Mickey Settlemeyer, Joe Christian, Nicole Mrazek. I hope I didn't just butcher your name, Nicole. I apologize. Sean Bolin, Garguts Entertainment, Margaret Scranton, false flag as opposed to positive flag. Julia Baldessari, Bozique, Crazy Cook 678, and Linny Lou. Thank you guys. Oh, we got more.
Do you want me to read this page, or do you want to read this page?
I got it. I got it, son. I can read. I got Halface. I got James Gum. We got Mancuda is a dildo. 802 Blues. Mr. BHB Jr. Frag 5150. Pal Guitars. William Bill Spruce. Frank Cochran. Steve Carmichael. Jesus, a Latino. I don't want to say the other part. Jim Nicholas, Hugh Caldwell, Ghost BC Rich, Music Therapy Laz, Fender Guru, Brian the Man Spalding, and Thomas Santiago.
Is that it? I think that's it.
That was it. So again, thank you everyone. Leave some comments, thumbs up, and everyone thank Johnny for letting us come on. So that was great. And yeah. We'll see you guys at the end of next month with some Halloween decorations up.
Ooh, yeah, that's a good. What's the date for the next show? What would it be?
It's like Thanksgiving. It's the last Thursday. But it's gonna be the last Wednesday of every month. So it'll be September 30th.
Wow, it is September 30th. Wow,
yeah.
Okay.
It's 5 weeks from now.
Yeah, and again, comments in the video after the show is over. Whether it's songs you want us to check out, bands you want us to check out, ideas to talk about, topics, whatever.
Topics, videos, whatever.
Thank you very much. Johnny, you want to wrap it up?
Yeah.
You're the man.
Am I here? Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Hey. Yeah, that was awesome, you guys. There you go.
Fine, you got to get one.
Oh, you got to get one of those now, man.
All right, I'll get one.
I'll ship one to you.
All right, sounds good. I appreciate it.
All right. What?
Yeah, just come in to close the game.
Close
Yeah.
it.
Close
Close
it out.
Let me think. We'll be live Friday.
Oh, that's right.
Yep.
Um,
Jay Hennon and Johnny Beane.
yeah, we might. I don't think we'll have a guest, but I've got somebody I'm talking to that wants to come on, and he says he's going to bring us 1 million views. Is what he says.
Wow.
So it could be pretty big. It could be pretty good. So I'll tell you guys after we're done.
Ooh, where's the
Oh, no, I didn't know who it is.
Yeah.
I want to know who it is.
So we'll be live Friday, and then of course Saturday night with your host John BL. And then
John BL.
I don't know. All right. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you guys
Thanks,
later.
guys. Bye.